Welcome to Pagan Coffee Talk. If you enjoy our content, please consider donating and following our socials.
Now that's recording. Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Okay, so Neri's back, and we're going to talk about NPCs.
Non-playable characters.
All right, this has been going around that some people are starting to believe that there are people in this world that do not have souls.
And I can see where they can come up with that, because some people seem like they are just kind of here and nothing else.
Well, there's part of this is also on the on a little bit different side. Is what brought most of this up was because there are some people that sit there and go, they don't have an internal monologue of any kind.
I can't wrap my head around that concept.
All right, now you can. Now let me state this. I do have an internal monologue, but I don't have one like normal. I think in pictures in my head.
That's still an internal monologue.
But it's still an internal, because it's like a camera in my head that I just replay scenes and conversations in. So again, it's an internal monologue, but it's not a normal one. So we're not talking about the difference between that. We're just talking about people that seems to have nothing going on.
I can't even imagine how you function without an internal monologue.
Learning patterns of things, how to turn on a microwave, how to not to turn on a microwave.
Yeah, but it's
how to
like
turn on a stove. I mean, you're learning patterns. I can see where in the world you can learn patterns like a robot.
So, but it's like does this person not have a soul? Are they basically a human robot?
Right. Are they an NPC? Or are they a non-player character? Or could there something else be going on here instead?
What would be the something else?
Well, what if we said they actually do have souls, but they're not proper human souls?
So maybe in their past life they were a tree or a dog.
Or I'd probably say some type of animal, but more than likely some type of predator or animal that tends to act more independent.
So a soul who's learning how to be human.
A human. All right, because I don't know about you, but I believe in the transubstantiation of souls, that we start off as lower animals and our souls evolve over time to become bigger or more complicated creatures.
That's kind of funny, because at work the other day there was a little gnat flying around, and my coworkers were trying to kill it, and when they finally got it, they were like, "R.I.P. gnat, what else should we say?" And I said, "Thank you for being here, gnat. Maybe in your next life you'll be a fly."
I mean, so again, could this be? Because I mean, I'm sure you've met these people where you've talked to them and anything, and they look like a deer in a headlight
all the time, just deer in the headlights, no emotions whatsoever. They don't have an emotional response to anything. You could tell them that you just ran their dog over, and they would be like, "Okay, thanks for letting me know."
Yeah. So, or is there something else going on with humans that we're not seeing that is causing us to be less emotional creatures?
I don't know.
Could there be stuff in our environment and our food that are actually causing these problems instead?
And that brings me to mind to another thing, is that a lot of autistic people don't have the ability to process emotion or really show emotion. But does that make them somebody without a soul?
I don't think so. I honestly believe they have souls. I do.
No,
don't get me wrong. I believe there are people in this world that are walking around that are soulless.
Yeah. Now, I don't believe that autistic people don't have souls. That's definitely not what I was trying to say. It's just, I don't think people who are emotionless like that are non-playable characters who are soulless. It's like Lord Knight just said, they process things differently. They probably are very emotional on the inside and just don't have the ability to outwardly express it.
Right. I mean, because we can go ahead and talk about the fact is that there are certain genetic problems that happen where people are less emotionally connected to what in the world's going on in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, we call them psychopaths, right?
Yeah. Yes, definitely. That
So is a psychopath a non-player character, or is this an NPC? Does this person not have a soul, or is it just everything inside's gotten twisted?
I would say everything inside's gotten twisted. Because I don't think they're just... A lot of times people are called psychopaths when actually... And saying they're disconnected from everything. Actually, I think they're getting some sort of sick pleasure out of doing whatever they're out here doing.
Somehow something in their brain might have gotten switched, and instead of feeling... When you should be feeling pain, you actually feel pleasure, or vice versa.
Or when you should be feeling empathy for somebody, you're just like, "Hi, I'm glad that wasn't me."
But, I mean, I've met people like this. I think we all have. It's hard to say if they're non-player characters. It really is. To see if they actually have a soul or not. I mean, unless you sit down with them. Because, again... There's a lot of these people. I've heard from Lady Crewman, who goes into the prisons, that there are these people in there, and she's meet them, and they're just like nothing but pure evil. She's not even sure if there's anything in there.
But the thing is evil a lack of a soul, or is it your soul is twisted?
To somehow perceive everything that death is good and destruction is better, and hurting and pain is preferable over happiness.
Yeah.
I know that sounds weird for us to talk about, but do you really think people actually go around and think that way?
I don't know, because there are some people that seems like that's all they want to do.
But not being sick or perverted here, but there are people in the world who like to be tied up and beat and perceive it as eternal.
That's on them. That's their particular.
But again, what we're talking about is how in the world these things can get twisted. But again, these people are perceiving pain, but for somehow they're perceiving it as pleasure.
Yeah, but those same people are probably not going around and just out there doing bad things just to be doing bad things. No, but I'm just saying it does exist. There are people that physically get off on being hurt and stuff like this. Yeah, because everybody's different. So
everybody's different. So again, it's not a hard stretch to find that someone's soul may get twisted down the line of this for some reason.
Yeah.
The only question is does that twisting happen because there's a hiccup in the body that messes up their pain and pleasure receptors, or is there something else going on there? Is there something spiritual behind this?
I don't know. That seems like a question for a therapist. Some people, I don't know. Maybe there's something in their childhood that's messed them up. There could be a chemical imbalance in your brain.
All right. So again, but after you're okay, so we believe in reincarnation. So I come back as a psychopath. I have a soul, right?
Yeah.
And I die. Do I still stay a psychopath? Does the soul still become... Are you with me? Or does it just bank into the other lifetimes I've had? Like all the other ones. This just happens to be this one.
I think sometimes a psychopath can be created.
Okay.
Not like you weren't born to be a psychopath. Something happened to you in your youth, or you've had some sort of experience that just gives you that twist.
Okay.
I've only ever heard of one story, and I actually heard about it recently, and it was somebody who lives near here, and apparently she's a local urban legend where she was just an absolute terror from the time she was a small child to the day she died. That, I don't know, maybe she's maybe the one instance I can think of where somebody was maybe born that way.
Right.
But most of the time, I think it's something that happens in your youth that twists somebody into that. Like most of because I will listen to other different podcasts about people who committed murders or did this, that, and the other. And nearly always their childhood they had some sort of bullshit in it.
Right. Well, I mean, most murders I've seen and stuff like that, they're more acts of passion in the moment than it is really anything else, and then they try to cover it up later.
But really, like the ones in particular, like ones that you listen to that are about serial killers.
Now that's a little bit different. They're
have
meticulous.
definitely had some. Most of them have had some trauma in their youth.
Right.
That doesn't excuse their actions, but you can see where that twist happened.
All right. So now, if we believe that these people have souls, I'm being serious. Do you believe that when we have these traumas, do they carry on into other lifetimes?
Yes.
All right. Why? I mean, I've heard of people who were supposedly died during World War II, supposedly reincarnated, and when they reincarnated had a fear of water or flying because that's the way they died in the previous life. So my question is it just for that one lifetime? Do you think it might be for that one lifetime? Is it something that wears off? I
think eventually it would wear off because you would have probably more uncovered memories. That's the only way I know how to describe it, of your most recent past lives.
Right. Because I couldn't sit here and say that we've learned everything we've learned. If we haven't came back as a psychopath at some point or something. I mean, I'm not saying that we actually killed anybody, but, maybe been locked up and was recognized early and was managed. Again, that experience in and of itself is an experience that would seem very beneficial to a soul over the long haul.
I think as hard as it is to understand people who are like this, I think you probably can't learn everything you need to learn over your multitude of lifetimes unless you've been somebody like that or been somebody who was sort of like that.
It would be the same thing as, somebody wanting to come back as autistic to experience life as an autistic person is what we're talking about. We're purposely choosing to put ourselves in rough situations to gain wisdom and knowledge.
Or somebody who's said, I want to come back as a spoiled, pampered dog to a rich person.
I think we all want to do that. Don't have anything to do but eat, sleep, and play.
And get petted on and just be spoiled.
Be spoiled. I mean, somebody has to do it.
I always say I want to come back as a bird because I just want that. I just want that freedom.
For some reason, I want to come back as an egg.
An egg?
Yeah. That way I can get laid that night and eaten the next morning.
Oh, my goodness.
See? Bad jokes everywhere.
But yeah, I do think you carry something.
All right.
Because I have mobility issues. Like I've had to have both my hips replaced and everything. It was a birth defect. So I'm going to wager that in my past life I had mobility issues. I feel like that is probably the thing I took from a past life because my doctors were all like, you don't have anybody else in your family that has this condition? No, I don't.
No.
So the high thinking is, well, this might have been a symptom from a past life.
Okay, so you actually believe that the trauma that the soul carries could possibly affect the genetics of the body that they're about to inhabit?
Yes, I do think it can affect you physically.
All right, so if something happens to you in a previous life, it could cause a birth defect in your next life.
Not necessarily a birth defect. Let's say in your past life you were killed by being stabbed in the heart.
Right.
And in your next life you have a birthmark on your chest.
All right. Or could it actually cause heart problems?
Possibly.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So do you believe that the trauma can actually cause physical sickness in people?
Yes. Think about it this way. People who are stressed and they get physically tired, it can cause their wrinkles to appear quicker on their face, can cause your hair to go gray quicker.
So,
like, your emotions can literally cause physical things to happen to your body. Like, I have anxiety. Before I started really getting treated for it, I would get so anxious I would literally not be able to sleep, and sometimes it would literally cause me to just go throw up randomly.
Right. Now, do you believe healing a past trauma like this would fix the problem?
It's a good question. I don't know.
If it is something from a past life, if you sat down, you did your meditations and blah, 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 could you heal that trauma and heal that problem?
I don't know. I guess it maybe depends on how severe the problem is.
You know, well, again, I'm back to, hey, we're going to take, what's my answer? Meditate.
Meditate, yes.
Meditate's always the solution, all right? So, again, another reason to meditate, but dealing with those traumas, dealing with that stuff, to some extent, could it maybe at least relieve some of the symptoms?
Yeah.
Are you with me? Maybe not completely eliminate it, but relieve what you're talking about, where you're over anxious or stressed or whatever. You know, could really healing that trauma in a previous life actually?
I don't know. That's something I really haven't pondered.
Well, I mean, I can see
like I can see it healing emotional, like if generational emotional trauma.
Right.
Something physical, like another thing about me is I don't like the taste of alcohol. I hate it. I don't like it.
Right.
So in my mind, I'm going, most people can stand it. I for some reason just really don't like the taste of it. So in my thinking of like, did I have problems with alcohol in a past life?
To make it to where you don't want
Yeah.
It could be. I'm not saying it's not. It's just... You know, but then on the other hand, it could also be the genetics of your body. And, you know, there's a herb that some people eat and they think it tastes like soap and everybody else loves it.
Cilantro.
Yes. So again, and that's a genetic thing. There's no solution. There's nothing to stop that. It's just the way your taste buds perceive it. So again, we're asking this question is, you know, when does the soul begin and when does the body begin? We're sort of, we talk about them as separate things, but they're so woven close together, they're hard to separate.
Yes. I kind of like to think that you don't start off as I'd say you don't start off as a bug. Like you might have started off as a blade of grass or a flower. But at that point, you're not a soul yet.
Well, see, I have a hard time believing that plants have any type of souls.
Well, I said at the time, you're not a soul yet. I think they do have energy. At that point, your energy and your building.
Well, for some reason, now, I'm not saying I'm right or wrong, but my perception of it when I've communicated with these things, for some reason, plants, insects, most herd animals, all seem to have more of a single consciousness versus an individual consciousness.
But you still can build off the individual consciousness.
You can.
And branch off at some point.
Because most of these herd animals move quite easily. If you've seen a school of fish or anything like that, how they all just turn and everything. That's one world. For some reason, every time I've communicated with them, it seems more like a collective consciousness versus what I'm presents off like certain other animals a little bit.
Everybody always says, "Oh, it's just in their nature to do that." I think it's more like a hive mind.
Yeah. They all seem, there are other little things going on there and all this in communications, but yeah, I think there's a little bit of a hive mind going on there too. So,
but it's like you can't look at your dog and say they don't. Like I know a lot of people say like a real big argument is, does a dog have a soul?
Well, I think they do.
They do. Like, come on.
No, do I sit there and think of it as a
human soul?
As a human?
No.
Do I think of it as a soul that could maybe one day become a human soul? Yes.
Like my dog in particular, like he gets emotional about things. Like dogs get emotional about things. Like they have to have a soul.
Well, they get they're also very independent for some reason. And for some reason, I think that's always where the landmark hits, if something has a soul or not. If they show that independent behavior. Independent behaviors
and emotional behaviors
on top of it. So we're not talking about deer and goats. I'm sorry, if you've ever been around deer, goats, and cows, they're not. I don't know how to. I don't know.
That. I've seen some goats that do seem to like they kind of have some emotional behaviors. Not a lot of them, but I have seen some that seem like.
I see some where they get. I sometimes think of it as the bail for the dogs.
Yeah.
That is happening with some of these herd animals. Mm-hmm. And they're only look like they're mimicking those behaviors to us. Does that make sense?
Sort of. But I've seen so many videos of course, I say this because I want a pygmy goat to keep in my house. My husband won't let me do it. But I have watched like a ton of videos of little pygmy goats in pajamas who act like dogs. I'm just like, I want one.
But again, it's an illusion. We're filling in the blanks there.
Yeah, kind of.
To some extent. All right. That's all I'm saying is that I'm not saying that these creatures don't feel emotion and don't have sympathy and stuff like that. But again, generally speaking, they do seem to have more of a hive mind. Yeah,
because cows are basically eat grass, moo occasionally. Lay down when it storms.
Get in the shade when it's hot, go get water and go on about it. And nothing ever changes. Mm-hmm. So, go figure. I'm sorry, I see more in squirrels sometimes than I do.
Yeah. Like the one who usually, because the way my kitchen is set up, I have a bird feeder right outside. There's a deck railing. And every time I'm getting ready to go to work or I'm fixing my breakfast, that squirrel will be coming up to the bird feeder. And then I just, do the I see you. And then it just kind of stops and kind of is skittish. And it's like, it's like it's thinking, like it's really thinking, like, is this, am I safe?
Am I safe or am I not safe? You can sort of see the wheels turning there. I'm making a conscious decision and not just going on my gut instinct. So, well, I think that's about it. I need some more coffee.
Me too.
Thanks for listening. Join us next week for another episode. Pagan Coffee Talk is brought to you by Life Temple and Seminary. Please visit us at lifetempleseminary.org for more information, as well as links to our social media: Facebook, Discord, Twitter, YouTube, and Reddit.
We travel down this trodden path, a maze of stone and mire. Just hold my hand as we pass by a sea of blazing pyres. And so it is the end of our days, so walk with me till morning breaks. And so it is the end of our days, so walk with me till morning